All right, y'all. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, the Hamashiach, or Hamashiach, or something called Yahweh Shai, Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yashayah, Yahusha. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Today's class is going to be Will Thou Be Made Whole? Will Thou Be Made Whole? Give brothers a few seconds to get in here. Hold on, let me put the link out. But I hadn't received any notification on this thing. Hold on. No notification at all, really. Oh, well, that's that's one reason I'm not on my channel. Okay, yeah, we live. Shouldn't be a long lesson, but it's the old lesson, man. So you'll see Yahweh in here and stuff like that. So don't let that trip you up. Like this. Don't let that trip you up. And basically, no, it sounds like a silly question. Will thou be made whole? Is seeing the causes of our sickness. I spent the last 4 or 5 days in the hospital. My dad was in the hospital. He was released today, all praises. And it made me think about this lesson. It made me think about it. And will one be made whole? Shalom, brother Dion.
Shalom, huh?
And I was thinking about it, thinking about the lesson. And you know, not as an example of my father, because he wanted to be made whole. He was in there for a couple of days. He was in there just raising sand. But you know, walking through the hospital, you can see other people. You can see other people who may have, you know, may not have that fight in them. May just be going through the motions. May not have a family there. May not have the support there. And it's not just about being sick. It's also just about being in certain situations and trials that we go through, and looking at certain situations. And do we want to be made whole again? You know, might have been through the marriage, might be struggling. Do you want it back whole again? You know, finances, you know, do you want it back whole again? Or do you just want to, are you just going to lay down and just let these things continue to wither, or allow that situation to continue and wither, and just basically sickness? Do you just lay down and just, oh, well, I ain't going to take the medicine no more. I'm tired of how the medicine make me feel. I'm tired of, you know. But that's basically what the lesson's about. It's a milky class, but a very important one. How you doing, brother Dion?
Doing well, man. And you know, speaking on what you was just talking about, my father that raised me, may he rest in peace. He had a situation where the doctor told him that if he didn't stop drinking, that, you know, it wasn't going to be good for him. So he started drinking O'Doul's. Like, I guess he liked the beer taste, you know. So
Right.
he got the 0% alcohol, you know. And then after a while, he went back to the beer. And he was just like, you know, I'm going to live my life, more or less. And he passed at 46 years old.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man.
And
So
that's one of those examples. Even my mother struggling with substance abuse, and you know, it's some people that it's a great example. It's a rough example, but it's just it paints a vivid picture of just how sometimes we can choose it. We
yeah,
can choose. We can choose. Nah, I don't want to be made whole. I don't want to be right. That doctor issue that and say, hey man, you're gonna have to stop doing this, and it don't have to just be alcohol or substance abuse, but it can be food.
yeah.
Um, just certain dietary things, certain lifestyle changes that we need to make. Um, and we don't put the energy in. We neglect it, and ultimately say, man, if I'm gonna be here, man, I'm gonna be here the way I want to be here. I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. And that's not how this thing works. Um, but yeah, again, Milky Class, a great example, brother Dion.
And Salaki,
Um,
what the best comeback is? You're gonna die somehow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We all gotta go.
We
We
all
gonna die
gotta
with
go.
some way. Yeah, yeah.
And also it was like I think a lot of people confuse that with free will.
Mm,
Uh, just you know what I mean, choosing to live your life in the manner in which you choose is considered you having free will. But in actuality, God has gave you up to your own lusts,
mm,
and now you gonna lie in that thing.
Yeah, you done meditated and he done gave you up to your own your own affections, man, your own lust, your own demons.
Okay.
Gave you up to the flesh. And it's easy to, like you had gave that example, it's easy for us to go back once we start feeling good. Um, once we start seeing the light a little bit, like you was talking about your father was who raised you was he went to the old duels, but then after a while, went back into and I didn't see my mother, go to the rehab, go through the program, do well, stack up money, stack up thousands of dollars. And then, nah, I'm gonna live it the way I want to live it.
Woo, that's
You
tough.
know, yeah. And she she gets my stepfather. He was retired military, 100% disability.
Mm,
So she got the money. She got an apartment, got a car note. She get, but somebody has to pay all of that. She in a program where they pay for all of that, and then she get what left. Um, but she has, and I'm only saying that to say she has everything she needs
yeah.
financially, but to have a decent life. Um, but yeah, once she gets good, and she done been through several programs. Once she get good, and then after a while, she like, nah, it's just what I want to do. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, stranger that sojourns among us. Shalom, the Rimmer. What's going on, brother? Let's go ahead and get started in this thing. Seeing life at the door. Genesis 4:7.
Genesis 4:7. Genesis 4:7. It reads, "If thou doest well, thou shalt not be accepted, and if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him."
All right, so a situation with Cain and Abel. And the Most High is telling Cain, like, listen, man, if you do as well, thou shalt be accepted. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. Sin is waiting. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And thou shalt rule over him. And thou shalt rule. Okay. Sin is waiting for you. But if you do well, then you'll be accepted. You'll be, you won't have to deal with certain things. But um, if we delve into these things and we kind of, dig into this flesh and let this flesh get the best of us, sin lies at the door. 1 Peter 5:8.
1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
And we have to understand that too, that we gotta be sober minded, we gotta be vigilant, we gotta be on watch, we have to be evaluating ourselves and seeing what's taking over. You know, you. I know me. You know what I'm saying? So we have to really, and we gotta be honest with ourselves. That's a key component in this also. Is us confessing our sins, us being truthful. And it's, that confession definitely got to start with you. You got to confess that, hey, you know what, man? Yeah. I got to do better. I got to do better in this thing. I'm tripping. I've been slipping. I've been enjoying that a little too much. I've been talking to that a little too much. I done crossed a little too far on that line. I need to pull back. I need to get myself back together. But you got to make that call. Fearing Yahweh, fearing Yahweh, fearing Yahuwah. Proverbs 3 verse 7.
Proverbs 3 and 7 reads, Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh. Depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones.
Should be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. We're going to talk about that a little bit on the scientific tip, just very lightly. Very lightly. All right. But be not wise in thy own eyes. All right. Depart from evil. Fear the Most High. And that's how you get up out of there. That fear of the Lord is what brings you up out of that evil. Nah, I'm not finna do that. It's just like the fear of the consequences of, of you breaking the law. Man, I went down this rabbit hole the other day of watching these darn folks with the bouncing, trying to cash these fake checks. I ended up watching about 2-3 hours of people trying to
getting that knowledge.
They're trying to write these, trying to cash these checks, and there's a fear there, but they didn't have it. They could allow somebody to talk to them and say, hey, I just and the reward can mute the fear. We have to understand the logistics. We got to understand the logistics of the fear of the Lord, because and how these devices of Satan can mute the fear. Like, nah, man, you know what? I just, so and so just cashed one for 10 bands. They just cashed one for 10 bands, man. You see, they went out there on the carnival and went out there to the Turks. So and so with cashed hers, got a BBL. I'm telling you, man. I remember when I was waiting tables back in the day. I waited tables a long time. But there always used to be a scammer that come in and would offer a server. I used to serve tables. Would offer a server, hey man, take this little scanner and scan some of the cards. Scan some of the cards for me, man. You ain't gonna get in trouble. Just scan 1 or 2, man. I'll pay you $100 or $200, whatever, per card that you scan. And there'll be somebody that's sitting at the table. That sat at the table, he'll sit down and eat, maybe tip you well, and then look and read you. And then they can read me. I used to have cornrows, lips black from black miles and smoking weed. They probably could smell the weed on me. Well, we got us one. Sit me in that joker table and let me see. But I had a fear. It wasn't worth it. And you have to calculate that fear and and evaluate what's muting the fear and get up out of there and readjust and make better calculations to uh, get yourself out of those situations where you're not, you know, you're not involving yourself in some of these sins and iniquities. Proverbs, what we at? Proverbs 8:13.
God, Proverbs 8:13, the fear of Yahweh is to hate evil, pride, arrogancy, and the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate.
All right, how do we fear? How do we fear the Lord? Uh, you gotta hate evil, hate pride, arrogancy, hate the evil way, hate the forward mouth, hate the perverse mouth. Sirach 15, verse 11 through 13.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 15 and 11. Say not thou, it is through the Most High that I fell away.
Mm.
But thou oughtest not to do the things that he hated. Say not thou, he hath caused me to err, for he hath no need of a sinful man.
Mm.
Yahweh hateth all abomination, and they that fear Yahweh love it not.
And some of us, we be pumping our chest, we be so righteous, and when the fall comes, we like, oh well, that was the Lord trying you finna bring me to another chapter. The Lord bringing me down because I da 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 da. And, I had to get rid of. He was shedding me, and I had to shed some of the loose skin. No, he brought you down because of sin, brother. Yeah, evaluate yourself. He might have brought you down because of sin, man. Might have brought you down because of some of the iniquity, some of the things that you were going through. And you can reference the story of Job. His friends were trying to say, Job like, man, I don't know what to do. I ain't did nothing. But his friends are evaluating the situation like, nah, you must have did something. Nah, you had to do something. Ain't no way. Ain't no way you getting punished like this. And again, a lot of times, in the case of Job, that wasn't the case, but you have to evaluate yourself. That are you trying to be made whole? Are you trying to be made perfect? What's that? Matthew 5:48. Be thee therefore perfect as thy Father in heaven. Are we trying to be made whole? Are we trying to be better vessels? All right. Let me see if I can read this. Bone and marrow, navel, bone marrow, and be not wise in thy own eyes, lean not to thy own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Departing from evil is healthy to your navel and bone marrow. Bone marrow is extremely important dealing with the production of red blood cells through process of known of what is that? Hemopolosis?
Hematopoiesis.
Hematopoiesis.
Hmm.
You're gonna pray over it. Bone marrow is also a key component of the lymphatic system, producing lymphocytes that support the body's immune system. Science once thought that the navel was just a scar left from birth, but new studies have shown that many ailments can be treated more efficiently through injection in the belly button. Let's deal with more precepts dealing with how sin destroys the bones and burdens the mind. Should have been mind. And this is a vagus nerve. This is a nerve that runs from the navel, but it runs to every vital organ, all the way to the mind. Very important nerve. This is also considered to be like a third brain. They got your heart as a brain, they got your brain as a brain, and this vagus nerve is very essential, almost to the same level as the heart and mind. Hiding sins will make you age faster. Let's look at Psalms 32.
Psalms 32:1. Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man unto whom Yahweh imputeth no iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no God. When I kept silence, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day long. For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. Selah.
When I kept silence, my bones waxed old through my roaring all day long. All right, blessed is the man who imputeth no iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. You know, it's stressful because really you're trying to be somebody you're not. Really, you know, when you're hiding that iniquity, you almost got on another costume, and then you come out on a Shabbat, and you're going out and you're teaching, and you're a different character. And you putting on the costume, and then you know what's crazy is that you know people know it. Makes it even more stressful because other people around you know it. Other people around you kicking the bobo with you and turning up with you. The girl you're fornicating with, she know, but you showing her the videos. Yeah, well, you know, Sarah, I gotta go out there and teach. I gotta go out there and teach the people and this. And then you in there laying down fornicating with her. You know, Saturday night, Sunday morning. She knows she don't believe you, and a lot of times when this stuff get outed, brothers lose it. Brothers run, you know, fall out of this thing. Well, I don't want to be. No, I ain't dealing with that no more. You know. Because it was so much stress on them. And so when they got the chance, when they finally got outed out, it's like, oh, it's like a relief. I can go and just be me and just be in this world and just let this thing go until the afflictions come. Until, you know, them bones start waxing old. And them bones get to roaring all day. And you start evaluating and saying, you know what, something I did something wrong. Let me evaluate life and see where, you know, I can get this thing back on track. Cause this ain't normal. This gotta be something spiritual going on with my body feeling like this. You must confess your sins. Psalms 38, 1-5, and then 17 and 18.
That's Psalms 38 and 1. A psalm of David to bring remembrance. O Yahweh, rebuke me not in thy wrath, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. For thine arrows stick fast in me, and thy hand presseth me sore. There is no soundness in my flesh because of thine anger, neither is there any rest in my bones because of my sin. For mine iniquities are gone over mine head, as an heavy burden, they are too heavy for me. My wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness. For I am ready to halt, and my sorrow is continuously before me. Verse 18, for I will declare mine iniquity, I will be sorry for my sin.
I'll be sorry for my sin. You know, it's a you done man, you done did some stuff. I know, you know, everybody done did some stuff in their life. Did some foolishness in their life where you know, it made your stomach hurt. It made your stomach drop. Whether it was a bad report card that you had to take home, whether you got caught in the midst of something or stealing out of Walmart and now you in the back of the in the back of the little store area, you know, got to call your people, or you facing the judge on some matters and you need mercy. But it's a feeling that where your stomach drop, you know, and your heart drop in your stomach and you got the bubble guts and you just and your body's acting crazy because of you know that you in some trouble. You know that you in some trouble. A lot of us don't have that with the Lord. A lot of us can do certain things and get away with certain iniquities and do certain sins out here and live any way they want to live, and it doesn't make their heart jump in their stomach. They don't get that same feeling that, man, I'm in some trouble. David here is expressing that feeling. You know, man, he like, listen, don't chasten me. Don't whoop me in your wrath. You know, calm down. You know, you don't want that whoop as soon as your mother check you out of class. Or then came up to the school and now they checking you. She done called out of work and had to come check you out of the class and taking you home to put belt to butt. You don't want that immediately. You want her to calm down a little bit. And sometimes them be even sneakers got them sneak attacks. Well, you might think you done made it through the day. She done forgot or he done forgot. And they wait till the end of the night to cut the light on and be like, yeah, I ain't forgot about you. But you know, that little moments, those moments there is what David's talking about. No soundness in my flesh because of that anger. And my bones can't rest because of my sin. You can't enjoy yourself. You hit the cartoons don't even hit the same. You know, the you know, there ain't no good news. You're just looking up. It's hard to deal with. Until it's over with. And we have to have that fear. We have to have that same fear. Understanding that it's a harsher judgment. But some of us, and that fear don't, you know why it's not there? Because we don't really believe it. A lot of us don't even believe in that eternal judgment. Not to the extent that the iniquity is making where we can hardly sleep because of the sin. Where we're writing psalms like David is writing psalms about his iniquity and how, you know, he's searching for mercy in his sins. They know not what they stumble at. Proverbs 4, we're gonna read 10 through 23.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 10. Hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in right paths. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it. Turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. Shalaki. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They show not at they know
not
not what they stumble. My sons, attend to my words, incline thine ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine ears, keep them in the midst of thine heart, for they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life.
All right, it's just father son talk. All right, son, keep these sayings. Depart from evil people. They up all night trying to figure out this mission. Just like we were talking about we was giving an example of the people trying to cash these checks. Depart. You know it's evil. Depart from them. Don't get yourself involved. If it's so sweet, why they ain't cashing the check? Why they need you to cash it?
And you get that feeling too, Shalaki. You get that feeling too. Once they proposition you, like, you know.
You like, I don't know, man.
Man, I ain't going.
Right.
I ain't going.
I just seen I don't know what is red spring I'm trying to get. I just seen a video with a brother saying Gilbert Arenas just got caught up with some poker gambling scheme where illegal poker gambling with some Israelis.
Mm.
And they were renting out his mansion and hosting the games there. And he even got caught up by the feds, man. The feds done picked him up this morning.
Mm.
And that's again probably one of those notions where somebody's coming in, bro. We just gonna be gambling, and it's gonna be high stakes gambling and da 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 da. And we just need to use your house and da da da, and and making it seem like it's sweet. And like you said, there's a little meter there. There's a little spirit there telling you, nah. But then there's the flesh saying, bro, he talking about he gonna give you 10 million. You know what we can do with that $5,000?
God.
That flesh is there talking too.
God.
Yeah, yes, Lord. But again, his father son talk, trying to prepare his son that he doesn't fall into those same temptations. Understanding these people just eat the bread of wickedness. They drink the wine of violence. All right. They paths is straight darkness. And they don't know what they stumble. They because they're walking in darkness, they don't know. They don't know what tripped them up. And a lot of times that's why they get out and do it all over again. And don't learn their lesson. All right. For all they are life unto those that find them, in health unto all their flesh. Right? You can keep yourself healthy. You can keep your mind healthy. You can keep your mental state in order, spiritual state in order. Taking heed to this wisdom, to these wise words from Solomon. Isaiah 59 verse 10.
Isaiah 59:10 says, we grope at the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday as in the night. We are in desolate places as dead men.
In desolate places like dead man, we grope at the walls. Have no idea where we're going. Lost. And that's who they can usually get. Those who find themselves in that predicament where they're in darkness, they're groping, they're reaching at the wall, and they'll reach at anything. Oh, you got a check for $10,000 I cash. You gonna give me $3,000, and you take 7. They'll take that opportunity. Oh, I just need to take this package over here to Alabama, and you gonna pay me $1,000. Hey man, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't got nothing going on. And they not sober. They not vigilant. And then that ruined line comes. Seeing is lying at the door. What else you got going? You in here working in a restaurant. I know you can use a few $1,000s, man. Just scan these cards, man. Curses of sickness, Deuteronomy 28:61.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
All right, he was talking about, we read that Deuteronomy 28, but he talking about sicknesses, man, that ain't even in the book. Put sicknesses on you, they ain't even got names for it yet. Leviticus 26:14-17.
Leviticus 26:14. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning age, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. that they that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you.
All right. Oh, we talk about this, and we know that these are if statements. All right, if you do this, you'll have this. You'll have all of this greatness. You have the kingdom. You have it. You'll flourish. If you don't do this, then all of these bad things will happen to you. And this is one of those lists from the Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 28, where if you break the covenant, you despise my statutes, you hate my judgments. These things will happen unto you. All right, and this comes from what? Sin. Comes from sin. Deuteronomy 7, 11 through 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 11. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will
All right,
lay
and
up Shalakia.
that's the other element of it is if we do these things, we're gonna be blessed. Gonna be your land gonna be blessed. Your cattle gonna be blessed. Your the womb, won't be no barrenness. And you'll be a blessed people above all people, and you won't get the sickness. Yahusha heals the impotent man here. John 5, we're gonna read 1 through 14.
The book of John, St. John chapter 5 and verse 1. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the movement of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. When Yahweh saw him lie and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he said unto him, Wilt thou be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, another steppeth down before me. Yahushua said unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. Is it not lawful for thee to carry thy bed? He answered them, He made me whole. He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, What man is that which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? And he that was healed wist not who it was. Jesus had conveyed himself away, and a multitude being in that place. Afterward, Jesus findeth him in the temple and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee.
Sin no more. Behold, you have been made whole. Sin no more. How many of us then came out of that thing? How many of us have, have put on that, have mortified that flesh and went to a new level, became a better vessel, and start walking this thing out? And behold, you have been made whole. Sin no more. Um, it sounds like a crazy question, with Christ asking, "Will thou be made whole?" Like, what you mean? Will it? Like, yes, I want to be healed. But the first thing the brother brings out is excuses. Really, I can't get down to the pool. Every time the angel comes and stirs the water up, I have trouble getting down to the pool. Somebody always beats me down there. And we can't be making excuses. All right. Sometimes we'll do that with ourselves in our walk, in our attempt to be made whole. Whether it's too far away or it's not at the right time. Brother Phoenix be doing lessons at 7:30. I can't. I'm at work. The camp's at 1:00. I can't get there. It's nothing to eat at this time of night. When I get off work, I gotta I can't help myself, man. It's human nature, man. I just gotta fornicate. I just gotta, I need it for my stress level. I be stressing out. I need to calm my nerves. It help me calm down. We'll make a ton of excuses of why we can't be made whole. And so we have to evaluate that and not be in that same spirit of our brother. Now, he wanted to be made whole. And when he was given instruction, he did it. Even though it was the Sabbath day and they had this tradition of you not picking anything up on the Sabbath day. Not that this is law, and we'll talk about that maybe another time. It's good. It's okay to do good on the Sabbath. He's the Lord of the Sabbath, and some of those intricacies of the Sabbath and how we should be operating. But this is just people that wanted to find fault with Christ and what he's doing. But the instruction was to take up your bed and walk. And basically, all we have to do is just deal with the instruction. That's all we need to glean from it, is that he followed the instruction. And we have to evaluate ourselves. Are we following the instruction? Are we listening to what Christ is telling us, and then and are we applying it so that we can be made whole? Or are we just going through the motion? We know better. We all know better. But are we just going through the motions? Yeah, definitely offense law. Marquez Walker, shalom, brother Eleazar.
Hey, Shalom Brothers, how y'all doing today, man?
I'm doing all right.
Shalom, man.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom. I thought you had some. But this pool here, was agitated by these angels, and people can go down there and be healed by this pool. Our brother, seen Christ come. Christ told him, "Hey, can you be made whole?" And he followed. He followed us as he said he followed Christ and followed the instructions and was made whole. And using this example for us to do the same. For us to do the same. You ain't got to question it too much. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no too much questioning of how it's going to work. What's the intricacies? Well, how long does it take? Just take up that bed. And when they come in, they say, hey, I don't know. This is what the man told me to do. This what I did, and I was made whole. Now, and the important lesson, after that too, is that after he was made whole, he said, sin no more. And then we can that can imply that the sin was the cause. All right, we can imply that the sin was the cause, and could have been what left him stagnant. And then again, sometimes I know how extreme this is, and we have seen this happen. We've seen these miraculous things happen. And people fall back into the iniquity. Like, we would like to think that, hey, there's no way possible. That man just got healed at that pool, and Christ just healed him. He took up his bed. Ain't no way he gonna go back out there and sin. I've seen some situations. I done seen some people be made whole and then go back to the foolishness. Many times. And I know y'all have, many testimonies. Also, and like I said, we've been in that, me being in that hospital last 4-5 days. There's many instructions given. Many doctors walking around there giving certain instructions, on how you need to live after this. Hey, you know what? No more salty food, or no more da 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 da, or you gotta stop that. And it's easy, and we have to be mindful of that. Some will refuse to help. Proverbs 5:11-12.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 5 and verse 11. And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed, and say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to them that instructed me.
You don't, and it's a little more on that. Read a little farther up, but this is all we need. Thou will mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed, because you hated instructions. You hated instruction. You despise reproof. You hated correction. And it's very rare where a brother thinks, you say, hey, man, you know what? Well, I appreciate that correction, bro. I appreciate that. Man, I appreciate that reproof. Get me together. Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Because I was going off. And you say, have I not, and have not obeyed the voices of my teachers, nor incline my ear to them that instructed me. And like I say, sometimes we can just go through the motions and not incline our ear. When we just reading the text, even when we're meditating on the word, not really inclining our ear. Just going through the motions just to say, well, you know what? I read 4 chapters last night. I read, I read 4 chapters, but your ear wasn't inclined. And that's why you don't have some of these fears, some of these natural things in your body that could, spiritual things in your body that could say, you know what? Nah. I fear the Lord too much to even get myself involved in that. That ain't gonna operate like that for me. It might have worked for you. It ain't gonna operate like that for me. Micah 6:13.
Micah chapter 6 and verse 13. Therefore also will I make thee sick in smiting thee, and making thee desolate because of thy sins.
Again, these are just little short, little quick hitters. We almost out of here. These are short, quick hitters, just again, dealing with the iniquities, this that can be causing the ailments, and causing the trials and the tribulations that we're going through. It ain't just necessarily got to be sickness, but it can just be, just complications within life where you just not where you want to be, dealing with daily struggles, etc. Or what's hindering you from getting to where you need to be. James 5:13-16. Are there any sick among you?
Book of James, chapter 5 and verse 13. Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. Is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Most High. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and Yahweh shall raise him up. And if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. Confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another, that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much.
Availeth much. And this is how we need to be operating within the body. This is how we need to be operating amongst the church. This is how we need to be calling for the elders. All right, and calling for the elders because they have the patience. They done been through it. Not that they perfect and they've never been through the stuff that they done been through it too. Like this ain't no, your walk ain't no isolated walk where you the only one going through this stuff. They've been through it. They've overcome it. They've had testimonies. Let them pray over you. Let them anoint you with the oil. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Most High will raise him up. And if he's committed sins, they shall be forgiven. And we hide the sins. We hide the sins like he won't forgive them. Like, I don't know if we even believe that he'll forgive them. And it's more so for, I understand that the people not forgiving them, but they don't count anyway. But Brother Phoenix ain't gonna forgive my sins. I don't count anyway. Because I don't forgive him ain't gonna get you into the kingdom, ain't gonna keep you out of the kingdom. He ain't gonna never forgive me. And then you gotta evaluate. Then he has to evaluate himself. Well, I have to evaluate myself. Because the text tells us to forgive our brothers. Says, confess your faults one to another, pray one for another, that ye may be healed. All right. And that prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And always keep your leadership in prayer. Always keep brothers and sisters in prayer in your body. Because they're not gonna tell you all the time. And a lot of times it don't come out until it's drastic, A lot of times we don't go to the hospital till we extremely sick. Ain't nobody gonna tell you about the checkup. Somebody tell you, man, pray for me. I'm going to get a checkup. It's usually when, surgery's involved and, it's a heavy situation. So just, let's keep a continuous prayer amongst the circle, amongst your loved ones. And so that we can heal each other, even if we ain't even saying it. This is just an add on Sirach 38, 1-15, and then I think we out of here. Yeah.
Sirach 38. Let me get my apocrypha. Sirach 38.
Shalom, sincere tape.
Sirach 38, chapter 1. It says,
Verse 1.
Sirach 38 and verse 1.
Come.
Come. It says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him. For the Lord hath created him.
Mm.
For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. The Lord have created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he hath given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works. With such doeth he heal men, and taketh away their pains. Of such doeth the apothecary make a confection, and of his works there is no end. And from him is peace over all the earth. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Leave
Mm.
off from sin, and order thy hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. Give a sweet savor and a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering as not being. Then give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him.
Mm.
There is a time when in their hands there is good success, for they shall also pray unto the Lord, that he would prosper which that which they give for ease, and remedy for to prolong life. He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. Mm.
Mm. And so don't avoid a physician. And listen, it's easy to do in that doctor's office. It's easy to do in that hospital because you feel like, oh, well, they just taking advantage. Are they really trying to heal me, or are they just trying to run up the bill? You know, these conversations that that I've had, I even found myself even saying it. You know, even saying it with my dad, like, nah, man, they trying to run up the bill. Man, you don't need another test. What they finna scan? You finna do an MRI. Man, they don't need to do no MRI, man. They running up the bill, man. They know you got good insurance. They trying to do everything, and they. And some of my brothers, man, shout out to brother Jeremiah, man. He works in the medical field. And I remember I had that little stint a few years ago, and he was like, man, do what them doctors tell you to do, man. Do what they tell you to do, bro. You know. Um, and that kind of gave me a different spin on it. You know, why I'm trying to pay these medical bills back. I'm trying to pay these medical bills back. He did give me another spin on it that most of them trying to help you. They ain't trying to hold you in there. But you just got to be mindful and understand that some of this medicine and some of this stuff that was given, especially the stuff from the earth, it was given by the Lord. These physicians be operating under the Lord. Even pray for your physician. You know, pray for the doctors. Pray for the nurses. And they have a difficult job. It's a difficult job. And even when it gets to a point where they don't know if they can help you. Most times they tell you to go to your faith. Most times they'll tell you, hey, you know what, man, whoever you praying to, man, pray to that deity. And that can be more of what's the terminology I'm looking for? A placebo. I think that's a scientific term. Sometimes they give you placebo pills just to increase your faith. The pill don't really do nothing. but it may boost your spirit up that something is working, and that could be enough. Your faith can be enough to heal you. Knowing that the Most High is a healer, it can be enough. Um, it was something else there. It says, "Don't be neglectful." I think it was there. Don't be neglectful. Um, what was that? What was that verse? It was like Route 13. I got it in the GNT, man. So it's just a horrible version for me.
This is you want me to read it again?
Yes, sir.
Ecclesiastes 38:13. Or Shalakia, let's start at 12. Then give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. There is a time when in their hands there is good success,
Mm.
for they shall also pray unto the Lord that he would prosper that which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life.
And you don't know, a lot of times you don't know that doctor in there praying. You don't know them doctors in there praying before they go to that surgery. And it says, keep him by your side because he created him. But that's all I got, y'all, for that. So shalom on that. Any questions? We can deal with that. Anything that brothers want to add, we can definitely deal with that.
Shalakia,
Go ahead, my brother.
I believe that there are some good doctors out there, and but I also believe that it's a lot of doctors that are greedy and are money hungry, and they see sickness as a way of getting money. You know?
Absolutely, I get. Like I said, I was saying the same thing. Go ahead, Shalak.
Yeah, if it wasn't like that, then I believe Dr. Sebi would probably still be alive. I mean, a lot of these cats that are promoting the herbal remedies, the more herbal based remedies, that would be more prevalent in the United States. But we have a system here that a lot of these doctors, in my opinion, are money hungry. You dig? And uh, my mom had MS, and I used to think, she'd come home with another medication. First it was her hands, her feet. Uh, she used to have to put these braces on her feet, and then they give her a certain medication that's supposed to strengthen that. All the while, it's still deteriorating her situation. Then it went to her hands, and then and they give her another medication. She's taking probably 20 pills 3 times a day, and then she was in a wheelchair and she couldn't use her legs, and then she'll have the shivers, the muscle spasms, and they give her some other medication. I'm like, Mama, these cats don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you need to pray to God, and just watching that, it was like a 23-year process
Wow.
when I first got out the military, and just watching that spiral, that downward spiral, bro, it was torture.
Wow.
But yeah, so I get it. Some doctors I do believe genuinely are born to heal people through this medicine stuff and surgery. But I think a lot of some other doctors are here for the bread. So I deal with that.
And I think that go both ways too,
Hey,
even with the holistic health. You know, some
Uh,
people are, giving good information, and some people, they out there, putting some herbs together to just sell products to the people. Go ahead, Doc.
hey, Shalom family, man. It's it boiled down to, man. We was talking about that other day about it boiled down to faith. in all things. Like even when you when you preparing a meal and you sit down and enjoy the meal with your family, before you eat that meal, you it's good to pray to the Lord, because before it got to your table, you know not what happened to it. A lot of things that we don't understand, that we have to fight things in the spiritual world, but we only understand it carnally. A lot of things that we dealing with is spiritual. Even if even if you have to deal with a doctor, it behooves you to go in there and fast and pray before you go into that position, because at the end of the day, all of it belongs to the Most High God. Everything that we do belongs to the Most High God. And I think that what God have been, when I be really starting to get an understanding of like the epistles of Paul and Christ and the mission. It was all the trying of our faith, right? This thing that we call liberty, a lot of people only follow God when they need Him or when they're in dire need. But now that we got liberty, it's gonna be hard for us to stand, because it's no fear. It's like if your parents don't stay on you with that belt, the minute they come off you with the belt, you just do whatever you want to do. So right now, you're gonna have to stand on faith that you trust in the Most High, yet that you got liberty, you're not gonna abuse it, right? And so it all boils down to your faith. No matter what you do, no matter what you eat or drink, you better pray to the Lord about that thing, because we only get confidence in what we see. But before it get to us, things happen. Even I'm in this vegan vegetarian space, but things happen to vegetables. Things happen to what I'm saying. Like we say, well, I'm not gonna eat meat. I'm gonna do tofu, man. But somebody had to dry that tofu, right? Everything that we eat, we is coming from somebody else's hands. Right? So ain't none of us safe. I don't care how you think you safe. It all boils down to your faith and trusting in the Most High to remove whatever you dealing with out of your way. And so that's all. It's just a trying of your faith. James 5, man. Understanding that this is only for the trying of faith. Great lesson, brother, man. And I yield with that, brother.
All praise. Great point. Faith is definitely important. And we talked about that too, with the absence of fear being one of those main focal points, one of those main issues. Do we really have that gut wrenching fear that we won't fall into these things, and we take for granted good health. A lot of you brothers, a lot of sisters on the line now, you ain't thanking the Lord that you got a clear throat today, and that you ain't got no congestion and your nose ain't stopped up. That's the first thing I be thinking about. Like, dang, man, I used to can breathe, man. I was breathing a couple of days ago, man. Well, I could just breathe through my nose. Especially when you get that darn runny nose and stopped up, you stuffing tissue in it, and like, man. And you take for granted good health. We're not grateful for waking up and being able to walk and have all our abilities and then that the Lord is so good to us, man, that like I say, we just even these small things, man, we gotta be grateful for. Anybody had anything else? No. All right, y'all, man. We appreciate y'all. Chiming in with us with another class. Y'all willing? We'll be on Bring It Out tomorrow.
Yeah, come, most I willing.
Most I will be on Bring It Out TV tomorrow. Most I will. And most I will drop some more videos throughout the week. Again, man, pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all on the next one. Shalom.
Hey, shalom.